everybody. Welcome to the weekly mixtape for December 2nd, 2017. Adding a new component to the mixtape. I'm going to be doing a weekly recap video of the events that have been occurring over the last week that may be impacting your financial planning, your portfolio, and then some non-financial planning things as well. Today we're coming to you from home. It's early Saturday morning. I actually did this video yesterday. One of our main events, the Senate passing their version of the tax bill. They made some late night changes while we were sleeping, so it totally threw my video out the window. So I had to redo it this morning from home. Didn't want to go into the office. So a little bit more relaxed, a little different setup. I apologize for the close-up view, but still wanted to get this out and didn't want to put out false information because there was a big one that they changed on me last minute. So with that being said, let's dive into some of the top news events affecting your financial planning and your portfolio over the last week. First and foremost, it's an arbitrary number, but nonetheless it's exciting. The Dow Jones crossed 24,000 for the first time, so we're sitting at highs in the Dow in the market, and we're actually on a very good run. This is the 13th, I guess November, now that we're in December. November was the 13th month in a row that the markets were positive in the U.S. markets, and we're working on our very first ever calendar year. So we'll see if Santa brings us another positive month in December, and if so, that'll give us our first 12-month calendar year positive U.S. markets. So we'll see how that plays out. So Dow crossing 24,000 is the first thing you may have heard this week. Not as much excitement as crossing 20,000 or 15,000 or 10. As we go further along and as we get higher up in numbers, every 1,000 points that we cross isn't as big of a deal because it's a smaller percentage increase. So there are no 24,000 hats on the stock exchange floor. Not a lot of news, but you still probably heard about it on your local TV stations. So that's the first thing. The second, Bitcoin mania continues and picks up steam. Over the week, my Twitter feed was filled with articles, both sides pro and against Bitcoin. I fed the fuel with my own writing and tweeting. But nonetheless, Bitcoin right now is a very hot topic. It was on the Big Bang Theory this week. My parents love that show. Got a text from my dad to let me know that they were talking about Bitcoin, so obviously I turned it on to see what was going on. Spent some time Friday morning with the infamous Pete the Planner, and we were talking about Bitcoin. So this news is probably not going to be going anywhere. The CME board announced that they're going to be offering futures for Bitcoin. So it brings a little bit more legitimacy to this area, puts it more in the mainstream, and I think it's going to be an exciting thing to follow. So Bitcoin mania continues. There are a lot of resources if you're new to Bitcoin. You can find some on this blog, and there is a very, what I think to be a very good blog post with some resources for you to educate yourself if you know nothing about it. So Bitcoin mania continues. The next one, it's a big one. The Senate passed their bill last night while we were sleeping, and it's not without any controversy. And to be honest, politics aside, seems kind of shady. So they had their outline of their bill that everybody had known about for the last week, and in the middle of the night they decided to make some changes, handwrite into it to pass the bill with some new provisions. So the Senate version that got passed, as of right now, to the best of my knowledge, consult your CPA for how this will exactly impact your situation, but some highlights are there are going to be some changes to the individual tax brackets. Doesn't really simplify things, so you can go out and find out where your bracket might fall if this gets passed in the format that it is in today, but that definitely doesn't simplify things. Standard deduction is going to be increasing, while personal exemptions are going to be going away. They're going to be taking away our ability to deduct our state and local taxes and also property taxes. So you're not going to be able to, according to this bill, you're not going to be able to deduct your state, local property taxes. So talk to your CPA before the end of the year. If there's anything you need to do to take advantage of doing that in this year, you might want to do that. Mortgage interest is going to be deductible still. There was some rumblings about taking that away. I believe the House bill was going to cap it, but the Senate bill just keeps it as is. They're going to now, and this was the big change, they're going to keep the AMT tax. It doesn't apply to everybody, but the original version that I read, the highlights of yesterday for the video, said AMT was going away, and last night they decided to keep AMT. So that was the main thing I wanted to correct. I didn't want to put any false information out there. And if anything changes from this video, I'll make sure to update the post written to say this changed or I was misinformed. But I feel pretty good about the research that I did earlier this morning. We're going to be getting rid of the penalty for not having health insurance. So this is the attack on the Affordable Health Care Act. Good or bad, but it's what it is. They're trying to get that repealed, so they're going to do away with the penalty for not having health insurance. And a final one that was not on the video yesterday, so correct the AMT and then add this one in. They are actually going to be allowing for 529 plans to be used for K through 12. So as of today, a 529 can only be used for higher education expenses, so college, grad school, those types of things. Now they're going to make it to where you can use it for K through 12. And honestly, I haven't had a chance to process it. I don't know how I feel that. My initial thoughts are I don't really like it because the 529 was designed for college. College is expensive, and if people begin to use those funds and miss out on all that compounding interest, then I think that our kids will be no better off than we are today with student loan debt. If those 529s don't have time to actually work for them, that's the whole benefit of it, is the tax deferral compound interest. So my initial thought is I'm not a huge fan, but we'll see how that all plays out. But that is an interesting new change. The other big thing coming out of Washington is the former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn pled guilty to lying to the FBI about contacting Russia during the transition from President Obama to President Trump. Don't know yet what the conversations were about, but nonetheless, it's big news. Anything relating to the president is big news. The markets initially sold off on the news, not knowing what's going to go, and certainly made the markets a little nervous. But in true 2017 form, the markets bounced back and basically closed unchanged. So they kind of just shrugged it off. Initial reaction, and then we just move forward and kind of shrug it off, which has been the tone for the markets in 2017. So that'll be some interesting news. So Washington's going to be entertaining. I'm sure Twitter will be entertaining over the next few days. But those are all things that have impact in the short term on the market, and then from the tax standpoint on your planning. So I would imagine conversations with CPAs over the next year are going to be changing some strategies. But just know that there was changes to the Senate bill. It got passed last night while we were asleep. Go out and find the summaries that will be coming out, and I'll try to link to one of those as well when I find a good one. And on a lighter note, the Avengers movie coming out in May of 2018, the trailer dropped this week. I have a link to it in the below with the articles. I didn't grow up a big comic book fan, didn't really follow Avengers, but with the boys, they've enjoyed it, and we love our Marvel movies, and this movie looks awesome. So 2018 is going to be a good year for Marvel. Black Panther, and now you have the new Avengers movie coming out. If you like that, like those movies, check the trailer out and you will be pumped for this movie coming out. So that is everything for the last week, the events that are impacting your planning, your portfolio. I'll be doing this video every week, so now that you're done with the video, head on down right below. I've got the links to my favorite posts from the week from all my favorite authors. Check those out, and I hope you enjoy. I'll see you next week.